Are you planning to travel anytime soon? Well, if so, there's no doubt you'll have your cell phone or another portable device and you'll need to recharge it at some point. If your battery is running low, be aware that juicing up your electronic device at free USB port charging stations like those found near airport gates, metro buses, coffee shops, hotels, and other travel-friendly locations could have some unfortunate consequences. You could become a victim of juice jacking, a new cyber theft tactic criminals are using to hack your devices. To help us further understand all the juice jacking jargon, we have our local tech expert, Kevin Andrews, with us this morning. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, Ben. I'm charged up to be here.
And thank you for joining us. Well, I hope your charger is a bit safer than some of these free USB ports. So can you tell us more about juice jacking? How does this all work?
Whether you have an iPhone or an Android device, smartphones have one thing in common, and that is the power supply and the data stream that pass through that same cable. So that could potentially spell some trouble there. So when your phone connects to another device, it pairs to that device and usually establishes some type of trusted relationship. You may notice sort of a pop-up message that comes up on your computer when you connect your phone to it, and you usually have to confirm sort of by clicking on the trust option to let that process go through. And so that means that devices can now share information and power. So during that charging process, a USB cord could potentially open up a pathway in that device that a cyber criminal could probably exploit. So especially since that data connection is only visible on the end that provides the power. Herein lies the issue. In the case of juice jacking, the device's owner won't see what that USB port connects to or what it's doing in the background. So when you plug your device in, if someone's checking on that other end, they may be able to sort of move data between your device and theirs or even spy on what you're doing. So after the deed is done, cyber criminals can really use anything they want to sort of clone your phone's data, transfer it back to their own, all really without your knowledge.
So if cyber criminals can potentially hijack these USB charging stations to carry out their attack, what can we do as average citizens to protect our devices against these types of threats?
First and foremost, if you can, avoid public USB charging stations if possible. And in order to avoid these stations, you might want to plan ahead. I mean, it's a good idea to get in the habit of charging your phone at work or in the car or at home or even when whenever you're not really using it. And I think these days, topping up your phone's battery, even though it's not completely drained, won't affect the battery life. So charge it up any chance you certainly can get. Next, you might want to choose a different method to charge your phone. I mean, options can include using an external battery, wireless charging stations, or even power banks. I mean, power banks are typically small and flat now and lightweight and easy enough to sort of carry with you. And I think, finally, if you want to charge your phone, try and use a wall outlet. Keep in mind that data can't transfer between your device and a regular AC wall outlet. So if you're in public and in desperate need of a charge, consider connecting to sort of a wall socket using a power adapter.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was about to say. So it's really just that USB port, but if you actually have the charging block and you plug in that way, you're safe.
You're absolutely safe, yeah, for sure.
We're speaking with our local tech expert, Kevin Andrews, on your VOCM mornings. And Kevin, so I guess just what's the bottom line here?
One thing I always remind everybody is that when you open up some of these technologies for public use, you also open them up to public misuse. So really the best defense against juice jacking is to understand the risks. Keep your device charged at all times. Tote a power bank if you can. Enable any security features that your device provider or your manufacturer suggests. And always keep up to date with your software updates. Consider using, like I mentioned before, some type of USB pass-through device if you have to resort to using a public USB station.
Our local tech expert, Kevin Andrews, thank you for joining us and keeping us up to date on juice jacking. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Ben.